Hi, I'm Adam Winston from the Emek Learning Center. Thanks so much for watching. So we passed Rosh Hashanah. We all heard the shofar being blown. We were all inspired to improve ourselves for the future. We thought of a myriad examples of things that we can do to make ourselves better, to make the Holy One, blessed be He happier with us. But there's a problem. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah tells us that only the tzaddikim gemurim nichtavim v'nechtamim la'alter l'chaim. That only the completely righteous were actually sealed in the book of life on Rosh Hashanah. For the rest of us, and the Gemara in Kiddushin tells us that we should view ourselves as if we have half merits and half transgressions. So indeed all of us are viewing ourselves as Beinanim. And the Gemara tells us that for us, there's work left to be done. That our din is held, as it were, until Yom Kippur. And the question begs asking, what's the avoda of Yom Kippur? The Alter Mislabatka points out that we have the Eitzah, we have the advice of the shofar blowing, that the shofar is blown and it reminds HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kiviyachol of the sacrifice of Isaac on the altar, and that engenders in him a sense of rachamim, a sense of mercy. But for most of us, we didn't get that mercy on Rosh Hashanah. We have to wait until Yom Kippur, when we don't have that action of the blowing of the shofar to arouse in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if it's possible, a sense of mercy. So what's the avoda? And the Alter Mislabatka answers that the Eitzah, the advice of the Akedah, of the sacrifice of Isaac on the altar, still rings true on Yom Kippur. It just happens to be with a lack of the shofar. That for us, for the Beinanim, that the work is internal. And we have to do everything that we can to conquer our ratzon, our own personal desires. And then b'shas vidui, when we're admitting all of our sins, we're confessing to the Ribbono Shel Olam all that we did wrong. If we can think of a few concrete examples of times when we regularly put our own desires, our own kavod, our own honor in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's, and we can instead for the future accept upon ourselves that we're going to put our own honor aside and instead accept the honor of the Ribbono Shel Olam, and we can conquer ourselves in that way, that's exactly what Yitzchak did on the altar. That he took his own kavod, his own dreams for the future, his own hopes to be the progenitor of an entire nation, and he bound himself to the altar, expecting fully that would come to an end. The Alter of Slabaka says this is the meaning of the Gemara in Brachos that says, Makom Shabalei Tshuva Omdim Tzadikim Gemurim Einam Omdim. That in a place where people who return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu stand, a tzaddik can never stand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the davening is called Gibor. What is a Gibor? A Gibor is someone, a Gever is someone who conquers his desires. That just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu conquers his desire, as it were, to punish us, that instead he gives us chesed and he bestows rachamim and mercy upon us, so too we have to conquer our own inner desires. And I think if you look in the Parsha of V'zos HaBracha, which we won't read for a few weeks, the Pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, here's the Pasuk, I'll read the Pasuk in its entirety, Ashrecha Yisrael, praised are you Israel, Mi chamocha am noisha ba'Hashem, who is like you, a nation that's saved by God, Magein Ezrecha, the shield of your aid, V'asher cherev gavasecha, and the sword of your gaiva, the sword of your loftiness. So we know gaiva usually is used in with a negative connotation. That gaiva is our own sense of arrogance. But here HaKadosh Baruch Hu is called the cherev gavasecha. And the Mefarshim all explain that it's through HaKadosh Baruch Hu that our enemies are conquered. And I don't think this just means enemies on the ground, foot soldiers and artillery units. But any obstacle that we have in life, we have to realize it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and through doing His ratzon that we truly achieve anything in life. And if for a few times every day we can conquer our own ratzon and put instead HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will in front of that, in front of that will that we have, that's the avoda of Yom Kippur. And through that avoda, if we can do that, then we will truly merit a Gemar Chasim HaTaiva, and Amir Hashem will see the Bia Shlema Bimhera V'Yameinu Amen. I wish everyone a Gemar Chasim HaTaiva, and if you'd like to see more from the Emek Learning Center or look at our schedule, find out about events, you can find us online at www.emeklearningcenter.com. Thanks so much for watching.